It's the Dancing Korean. Oh, yeah. Roberto.
Tis me,
Man,
and the pawn shop guru, Ralph Rodriguez.
I tell you what. Welcome to Ralph Unfiltered. I'm your host, Ralph, and we got Robert the Dancing Korean in the hot seat. Other words known as the only person that would play with me today. That's right. So, let me fade out of this stupid intro music. Can't afford for anything good. So, how's your week been?
Interesting. Fighting off a cold the past couple days, and you know when you get that really phlegmy shit, you know. Other than that, I'm pretty good.
You look sick.
No, I'm just old. I found a great chest hair this morning. I'm getting over my cold.
Yeah. I'm chewing gum because they said we shouldn't. So don't chew gum. So
You're such a rebel.
yeah, I don't give a fuck. The bleep button and all that. Beep, beep. Man, let me just talk about my week because I'm not supposed to. This is what I was told today. We actually have somebody that's supposed to be helping us. So what they do is, we don't have the budget to have a producer and someone to edit it and all this stuff. We just do it all. But we do have somebody that kind of supposed to keep us on the path.
Right.
And things were told to me like, do not talk about code enforcement issues while you're fighting a code enforcement battle. I was also told not to talk about HOAs because I'm having an issue with an HOA, Homeowners Association. So guess what I'm going to talk about?
You're going to talk about McDonald's food and the fact that you are celebrating a birthday in August.
I ain't talking about none of that shit. We all know McDonald's is nasty, and everybody knows I'm old as hell.
If
So
McDonald's is so nasty, how can we just eat McDonald's for lunch?
That's because it's the only thing they'd bring us. So let me just start with this bullshit. So this is why episode 5 wasn't put out last week in time. It's actually being put out right now in the Fort Bragg Pawn and Gun Studios. So this all started about a month ago. I get a letter and it says there's a problem with my occupancy for the building we're in. Because for those of you that don't know, or might just be tuning along on YouTube or something, I own a pawn shop. It sponsors this show. It's Fort Bragg Pawn and Gun, formerly Fort Liberty Pawn and Gun. But anyway, we've only been in this location for about 2 months, 2 or 3 months running. We've had the spot for, almost a year. So apparently there's issues with the occupancy. The city says this place was a factory, and then we converted it to a mercantile, like a retail setting and all this stuff. But anyway, besides the point, this is what I went through. I'm fighting that battle. Let me spit out the gum. And then they say there's a problem with the signs. Our signs are not compliant. So we hired a sign company. It was like $4,000 or $5,000 so that our signs would be compliant. But apparently they're not in compliance, and the fine is 3 times whatever the compliancy permit was. So we're going through all of that. And
Right.
it's been stressing me out.
Yeah.
I've been pretty pissed off about this. So we do everything we're supposed to do. We pay the money. We pay the fines. We're fighting for the change of occupancy. We're willing to change the signs, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then just when I think everything's okay, guess what they come at me with?
I got nothing.
The dumpster. The dumpster. We already had a dumpster when we got the building. There was a dumpster out back. It's a commercial company. They're real pieces of shit, so I'm not going to say their name. Waste Management, WM. Don't ever sign a contract with these fools. So anyway, we have our dumpsters with Waste Management. The city says that I didn't get the permit for it. And I said, well, I didn't know there was a dumpster permit. There was already a dumpster here when we got the building. We just put it in our name. We signed the contract and said, okay, we'll let you haul our trash out at a crazy absorbent price. But apparently what they said to me was, you have to get the permit for the dumpster. I said, okay, we'll apply for a dumpster permit. Well, knowing that you're in violations, you got to pay the fine first. I said, okay. I said, so what do I do now? Well, you can't have the dumpster where we have it. It's in back of the building so that the truck can get there and lift it up and dump it. But that's not good enough.
Of course not.
So they want it the dumpster cannot be seen. They want you to put a fence up. And I've seen that. You know, a lot of the commercial buildings will have like a little privacy fence around their dumpster, you know, and I get it. So I'm like, okay, I'll put the fence up. Well, you need a permit for the fence.
Wait. You need a permit. First off, you need to pay the fine for having a dumpster there.
In triplet, 3 times the amount of what it would normally
Then
be.
you need a permit for the dumpster.
And
Then they told you to put a fence up around it so it's
Yes.
not seen, and you need a permit for the fence.
yes, I need a permit for the fence. So we apply for the fence permit, and just guess what happens?
Nothing really surprises me anymore about this.
We get denied. So we can't put the fence up to cover the dumpster. So what do? So I'm mad at this point. So I got a farm tractor with forks on the front of it. So I hook up to this dumpster and I lift it up and I drag it behind the building where it can't be seen, and I drop it down, and then I call them back, and they're okay with that. But they can only officially be okay with it once all the fines are paid. And it's just like when Amazon built the new plant down there. Everybody's like, well, why ain't they been open? The building's been there for a couple of years. They got to get through all this red tape.
Somebody's justifying a paycheck. That's what it is. It's like I've been teaching for 21 years, and I'm pretty good at it. But I'll get people coming in from the county, from the different admins at different schools I've been in, like, well, you didn't have that up and dotted over there, so obviously your lesson isn't good. Somebody justifying a paycheck. That's all it is.
I will say this, the 2 code enforcement people that came out here, they were really nice. And they had that look in their eye that, I am so sorry that we're about to do this to you, but we have to do this to you. So
Somebody above them is pushing down the scale.
and just so everybody knows, I can't get into all the details, but this thing has just spiraled into a mess. So then it got into fire inspections, being in compliance. And those of you that don't know me, you know, I spent most of my career in the fire service. I was a fire inspector. I was a fire marshal. I mean, I've done that shit my whole life. So one of the first things I done was fire extinguishers. I made sure all the doors, you know, have panic bars on them. They all blow out. You know, carbon monoxide, smoke detectors, brand new exit signs, emergency exit signs, LED floodlighting. I mean, I didn't even need to do all that. I just made it really nice. Not good enough.
It just seems like, again, the top-down pressure. Because you said the code enforcement people were really nice, and they said
They were nice. They're being pushed by somebody else is pulling the strings. You know, there's a fucking little puppet master up there just, you know, let's fuck with Ralph today. I said I wasn't going to talk about it, and I've been really cool about it, but I've had enough of it. Like I couldn't, you know, we had a funny podcast set up, and we had a guest coming in. They had gotten sick, so we kind of put it aside. But you know, it was some really funny topics, and we'll get back to it. But this is what I want to talk about. All this is going on. We're closed. Our business is closed. You know, we're trying to get everything done. My kid had a birthday in the middle of it, so I'm trying to juggle a birthday, and I'm just been pissed off. So we get all this stuff done. They have accepted our applications for all this stuff that they need done, and I get a phone call from somebody. They called me up and they said, we got a new letter, a new violation letter, and I'm thinking, what in the fuck have I done now? Do you want to guess what it is? Robert works here, but he only works on Saturdays, so he's missed all this. He's missed all this craziness.
I mean, like I said, nothing really surprises me, so I'm going to go into my thinking mode
The
here.
city said that I was operating a salvage yard / auto repair shop at the pawn shop.
I got to go back into my thinking mode for this.
Now, let me explain to you how this happened. So I have this other thing I do where I rescue cars, or you know, we try to save vehicles. We go out and we find beat up vehicles or vehicles that haven't ran in a while, and we do little TikToks and we get them and restore them just because I like to do that. That's just a hobby. It's not a business.
Some people rescue puppies on the side of the road. This guy rescues box trucks.
Nobody's profiting from it. And just to let you know, I've sold one vehicle in 10 years. Like, I just keep these things. They're everywhere. So behind the pawn shop, there was probably 15 vehicles, and they were kept neat. I mean, they were straight. The grass was mowed. You know, they weren't beat up. The tires were all aired up. Most of them had tags on them, but they were just nice and clean behind the shop because I didn't have a place to put them yet because we're we're transitioning to a new shop. We got a shop down the road. But anyway, that's their new thing. Like basically like I'm running a chop shop or something, not chop shop. So I said, I'm going to be the bigger person. I own a tow truck. So I hauled every vehicle. I closed for 2 more days and I done nothing but hauled cars out of here. I called friends of mine. We have parked cars at everybody's house. We moved all these vehicles and we moved everything around and they're gone. So the backyard is cleared up. There's the grass has been mowed. It's been raked. It's all clean out there, but it's not good enough. And then I said, well, you know what? I'll put a fence up. I'll pay to put a privacy fence up in the backyard and that'll help. But no, because I can't get a permit for the fence. I don't know what to do. Like, I know I sound like a whiny little bitch right now, but I've had enough. You know that show where, that documentary where the guy, he takes the bulldozer and adds all the metal to it? The killdozer. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that guy in Chicago. Yeah, I would not finish that thought, Ralph.
Well, I'm not finishing the thought. I'm just letting you know that I know why he did it.
Oh.
He just went crazy. I'm not going to do that because I'm not that type of person. I mean, I'm actually doing everything they asked me to do. But I understand why that guy went that crazy. And he was fighting City Hall and he went crazy and like drove his bulldozer. And I mean, they ended up killing him or something. I think
they threw a grenade in there.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is I understand it now. I get it. I get why somebody has been pushed to that point.
You know, like we said, teaching, code enforcement, there's always somebody trying to justify a paycheck. I've been frustrated when people who don't know you. I had another teacher come into my room for 45 minutes and say, okay, yeah, you're only at a number 2 level teacher, which is proficient, which is okay, but I'm done this 21 years. I know what I'm doing. So I was kind of upset. And I even emailed her. I was like, what's going on? She's like, well, I know I couldn't see everything in 45 minutes, but I still had to put something down. I'm like, if you couldn't see everything.
So they put something negative down.
So I was like, you couldn't see everything in 45 minutes. You're going to put something negative down. Well, you know, I just been told to do that. I'm like, I get it. And it's like those 2 code enforcement people you said, they came out. Sorry, man, I don't want to do this.
Super nice people.
Yeah.
And the fire marshal that came out too, he was super nice guy too. It's messed up, ain't it? And I'm trying to remain calm, but in the middle of all this, we got the pawn shop. I've got Hannah's shop. You know, I have rental properties. I've got an auto repair thing that I do where I, you know, restore cars myself. And then we have some charities and stuff we do. And then, you know, when we're doing this stuff with the Girl Scouts and my kid has a birthday, all this is going on at the same time. So what even makes it even worse is in the middle of all of it, we decide my neighbor had gotten sick and they want to sell their house and we're going to buy it from them. So I'm thinking there's something positive in the middle of it. So we all live in the same neighborhood. So I'm buying the house across the street from my house. Now we live in a neighborhood, there's a lake and I live on the side without the lake and this house is on the lake and there's no homeowner association because I wouldn't live in a neighborhood with a homeowner association.
I know where this is going.
You know where it's going. So we get the house. We haven't moved into it yet, but we're you know, we shake hands and we agree to buy the house. There is a homeowners association for the lake. Not the neighborhood, for the lake. Are you ready for the rules?
Oh, you told me some of them, but tell the people at home.
So if you're over the age of 15 years old, you can't fish the lake. It's for kids only. Can't fish it. So I'm not big on fishing anyway, but my dad loved it. My brother loved it. You know,
that's one he can easily.
I'm not a fishing type person. Something, and that's okay. It's a lake. There's all this to do. I'll get my 8-year-old out there on a boat or something, you know,
right?
And we'll have fun. So, no fishing. Of course, there's dues. The fish that you do get, there's all these rules that you have to follow. Like you have to measure the fish and do all this stuff and throw it back. And you know, and if it's Saturday afternoon and when it's not going to be a full moon that day, you can only make left-hand turns on the lake. I'm just joking. But it's
Well,
crazy shit like that.
That sounds like, because when you were saying that, I was like, yeah, that would be something that they would do.
So I'm going through all this stuff with code enforcement, the city. I'm going through all of this, and I'm really about at my breaking point. I'm trying to keep it together, and then I got this HOA for the lake, and
An LOA, a Lake Owners Association.
yeah, these people are something else. So you can have a boat, but it has to be a certain size. It can't make a wake, and it has to have an electric motor.
So it has to be green.
Yeah, I'm thinking about. I'm like, okay, Ralph, think positive. They don't want a bunch of jet skis going up and down all day,
And maybe they don't want fumes.
making waves and the fumes and the oil and the noise. And I've lived in neighborhoods like that where it's just so damn noisy. I get that, but there's just so much. There's so much. There's this. You can't do this. You can't build the dock. You got to do this. You got to get permission for. Anyway, I'll shut the fuck up about it. But that's what I've been going through, and that's why episode 5 is being released now. And episode 6 will still be dropped Monday like it's supposed to be, but this one is just really late. So how's your week went?
Well, like I said, I got over a cold, still a little phlegmy. When you get over that cold and you feel a cough coming on.
You look sick.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm about 85, 90%.
You're making me sick. I'm getting a little nauseous just looking at you. I'm just fucking playing.
This guy. But other than that, teaching during the day, doing DoorDash deliveries at night, going home to the missus.
Robert's got a million jobs. This guy, he teaches high school history.
No, I don't teach high school history. I teach ungrateful children.
He teaches ungrateful children high school history.
Right.
He DoorDashes till late in the night. He works for me part-time, which is only supposed to be one day a week, but turns into several days a week. He don't like to admit it, but he's an author, and he's always in a book, writing a book somewhere. There's something going on in the middle of all this.
Well, I'm writing a detective thriller right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll drop sometime in August. And I do want to,
I detect your farts. I know you're busting ass over there.
Well, I try to, just to make you mad, because it's fun for me.
You stink, dude. You smell like shit. We ate Big Macs for lunch. Hannah brought us Big Macs. It was like 2:00 or something. She brought Big Macs from the local McDonald's over here on Bragg Boulevard.
And Sycamore Dairy.
Yeah, Sycamore Dairy and Bragg Boulevard, right there.
Does everybody at home know this one?
Know what one?
The McDonald's.
If they live in Fayetteville, they've ate at that shithole.
Well, I just remember last time we were on, we talked about a shithole we ate at, so we got to talk about a shithole.
I beat up on McDonald's a lot, but I'm going to tell you, so it was 3 Big Macs get delivered. I don't even fucking like Thousand Island dressing, and they just piled it on there. But inside of it was 2 dehydrated little patties of beef.
Well, you know why they poured all
some little sad little onions that were just like, help me.
Well, you know why they poured all the Thousand Island on there?
To rehydrate it?
Yeah, the patties were fucking dry.
It was gross. But anyway, Robert's busting ass. He's got Big Mac farts. They don't smell like Big Macs. See, they just smell like shit.
Hey, my farts smell like roses. Just saying.
Well, anything else about your week? Because I'm done with the HOA and the LOA and
code enforcement.
Yeah, code enforcement. And
no, I mean, I'm a pretty uneventful guy. I do appreciate coming in and being on the Ralph Unfiltered show. I do look forward to it every week. And what's really great about, not to blow smoke up your ass, what's really great about working here
I smell the smoke.
You get to see all kinds of great people wanting to come in, lay a pawn, or put something down, or buy something. It's really great to just talk to people. I think that's really a good thing about working here.
I hate people. I'm over it.
You could not be a high school history teacher.
Oh no, dude. I probably shouldn't do this. I'm gonna do it anyway. Speaking of school, so it was my kid's birthday, so there was a pizza party. So we brought a bunch of pizza to the school, and I've never been in the school. This is her new school. I haven't been in there. So we get there, and it looks like a normal school. And there's like these 10-foot tall steel cages. So you're going through cages. I thought I was at Shawshank. I mean, I thought I was in a prison. Right. You go through turnstiles, metal detectors. I walk into school, everything looks normal. When the bell rang, it was lunchtime. These kids come out of these rooms. These kids come out wide open. They were running, they were screaming, they were disrespectful. When I was in elementary school, we walked in a single file line to school, or to the bathroom, to the auditorium, to wherever you were going.
Gym, yeah.
Yeah, you walked in line. And when I was in like kindergarten, we actually held hands. I mean, you wouldn't do that now with the COVID and all that, but you know, you created a chain. It was just so organized. And now this was my kids in second grade, but this was the most disrespectful kids I'd ever seen in my life.
Before you move on, does everybody realize what he just did? Back in my day, we walked.
I'm old as dirt.
He's older than me.
So we go to the office. We have to stick our driver's license in these machines, and they scan you, and they do a background check, and they issue a badge, and you put it on, and you know, blood sample, DNA, whatever, and then you go. We're carrying the pizzas in there, so there's like 7 different classrooms eating at the same time. So I knew this was going to be bad. We're feeding pizza to one group of kids. If I'd have known this, I'd have brought pizza for everybody. You know, so this one little girl, she was in 3rd grade. She comes up and snags a piece of pizza. Are you covering your breath for the burps?
This is my thinking position.
That's your nervous habit. So, because his breath stinks.
That's
So this little girl, she grabs a slice of pizza and she's holding it in her hand. And I was like, hey, you know, we got a party over here. I said, but I tell you what, I said, when everybody gets their pizza, there's some left, I'll bring it over to your class. She grabs the pizza and she's like crunching it in her hand. She gets it in a ball and it's hot. There's cheese oozing. And she says, what pizza? This is a little 3rd grade little girl.
right.
So I go to tell Hannah. I turn around and Hannah's straight up getting just assaulted by another one. I mean, they're just talking straight smack to her, man. I mean, these kids were out of control.
We don't mind. It's not in North Carolina. It's not just about the pay. I mean, I would love to be paid triple. It's just the level of disrespect we receive from kids, and everything top down. That's what drives teachers away. I've got 9 years left on my sentence before I could retire, so I think I could make it.
I couldn't work there, not without a handful of Xanax, and I'd probably become an alcoholic. I don't drink, but I'd start drinking.
I just want to thank you though, because I was burping up that Big Mac, and I was.
I can smell it, dude. You're trying to cover it with
I
your
was
shirt.
trying
You're
to
like,
cover it.
Let me act like you can't smell it.
Yeah.
You stink, bitch.
This guy, his nose, he can smell like if the TSA ran out of bomb dogs, they can just get this guy.
I'm not good at nothing. You know, I'm not good at music. I can't play guitar. I can't sing. I don't have an artistic bone in my body. I'm not athletic. I've never been good at nothing. But let me tell you, my nose is my superhero strength. I mean, I can smell the neighbor farting 6 houses down and tell you what they ate for dinner.
Here at the store, you know, sometimes when I got to go take a dump, this guy will walk in, just crack the door, and like, did you just take a dump? I'm like, yeah, you can smell that? Of course.
It's bad. It's bad. I've always had it though. I remember in school, you know, it was so bad because you're clogged up and, you know, you're in a classroom with a bunch of kids, man. You can tell like somebody who's got a dog at their house, somebody who's got a cat at their house because they smell, you know.
Well, you see,
I mean, I can walk through them. I'm not trying to be gross. I can walk through the mall and smell somebody and look over, you know. I can tell. I'm like, hey, that girl's menstruating. I can smell it, as gross as that is. I can smell blood.
Well, you see,
that's nasty as hell, isn't it? But it's true.
Hold on. Teachers also have a problem. Because if we got to take a dump and we can't get somebody to cover our class, we got to hold it.
Nobody gives a shit about you and your bowels.
No, but listen, you can't. This is the reason why I've got diverticulitis, right? Like this year when I turned 45, I got to get another colonoscopy.
You look forward to that, don't you? Hey, this is brought to you by Fort Bragg Pawn and Gun, 2908 Fort Bragg Road, Fayetteville, North Carolina. And Hannah's Rock and Gems, 2906 Fort Bragg Road, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Stop in, see us. They are our sponsors. We are in the Fort Bragg Pawn and Gun Studios. Back to my smell. So that it's a curse. It's a curse. So we got this kid that comes in here. He's not a kid. He's probably 30 years old. Anyway, he rolls up on his moped. He unzipped his coat today, man, and it smelled like there was 7 dudes in there just chopping onions. I mean, it smelled so bad. And everybody else is, I'm like, did y'all smell that? And everybody's like, what are you talking about? And I can smell everything. I can't even, like, when I got a couple trucks that are diesel. And some days I can't even drive them because it's the smell. It's overbearing.
I don't know if I have a superpower, but your superpower is your incredible sense of smell.
I can smell bad food too. So, people like when they look at milk or fruit, they look at milk for clumps or, they're in the store feeling avocado. I can just smell it. I can tell you. I picked up some bananas the other day, some bananas at, I don't know what the hell that place is. Lidl's, is that what it's called? Or by my house?
Lidl's, yeah.
Yeah, it's like all like foreign food. So I picked up some bananas and they looked really good. There was no spots on them. They're still a little bit green. And I could smell them. I could smell they had turned. And when I opened them bitches up, they were gross.
I like bananas with green in them. I don't like them when they turn, ripe because they're just too mushy.
Well, me too. I got to have a banana it still has
It's
to
solid,
be more, light green, yellowish.
Yeah.
There's
also-
less sugar that way too. Because the
They're all-
older they get, the more they break down.
They
Sugar level
ferment,
gets sugar level gets high.
Yeah.
We
They're
started out talking about HOAs, my craziness, and we went to my smell
And my colonoscopies.
and your breath.
Dude, their fries are okay. They were better when they were fried in beef.
Your
flour.
farts are taking my breath away.
I'm
Suffering from asthma. So it's like asthma, but it's from his ass. It just takes my breath away.
Another burp.
You're just a nasty creature, man.
Hey, I try. But the funny thing about getting over a cold is my nose is still a little stuffy. I can't smell it.
So what's your take on Zelensky and that meeting yesterday?
Well,
This is a safe place. You can say exactly how you feel because I'm gonna tell you exactly how I feel about it.
well, I could say things, but as a representative of the North Carolina educational school system, I feel like no matter what I would say, I would piss somebody off. So I'm just going to defer to you on that one.
Okay, I'm going to go and tell you what I think about it. I'm fed up with it. And I'm not taking a side. I think Trump and Vance went a little too far, but I also think they've had their hand out a lot too. And it's one thing to have your hand out, but it's another thing to be disrespectful.
To bite it,
Yeah, and I'm done with. Like I said, I've said this before. I'm an equal opportunity asshole.
I can vouch for that.
I'm so. Everybody wants to know my take on the situation with Gaza and with Israel. I'm fed up with both of them. I think they're both doing bad shit. And I'm fed up with it.
Well, I mean, I do have
Both sides.
opinions and things like that, but I find that
Sometimes I forget where you work, Robert. You just can't say what you want to say.
well, I think it was Mark Twain who said, "Better to be thought a fool than open your mouth and remove all doubt."
Right.
So,
Now, one thing I will say that I didn't think, I was totally against pumping all this money that way anyway, to anybody. I'm against it. We have issues here. But I also understand, security for the region too is important to us. But I mean, everything I want to say right now is going to make Robert get in trouble at work. So Robert's not the guest to have on to be completely unfiltered.
if you want to know, just come into Fort Bragg.
I'll fucking tell you.
And this guy will tell you whether you want to or not. Actually,
I had somebody walk out today just because, they said I was being mean to Israel because I was, they were talking about the Israelis, how they're getting treated, and they were like, bomb, 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 Gaza, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I think they've bombed enough of Gaza, I also don't think it needs to be Trump's playground for hotels and casinos either.
again,
Send me over there.
neutrality here.
Ralph,
Switzerland.
Foreign Affairs. I hate everybody.
That's not true. This guy loves.
I did give a kid a 4-wheeler today. I gave away Robert witnessed. I gave away a brand new 4-wheeler today to a little boy that didn't have nothing.
But the bitch of it is, he made me pull it out.
You goddamn right.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to hit a button on that.
Oh yeah, you don't want them to hear the word right. I mean, that's a curse word. No,
Yeah, that's my good deed for the day.
Yeah,
Gave away
I
a
mean-
4-wheeler. Brand new one too.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he is an equal opportunity asshole, but he does have a heart of gold. I mean, he's helped me out a lot of times before. Even when it's like, hey, Ralph, can I bum $10 for gas so I can DoorDash? he'll just give me $10 for gas. I mean, this guy.
This happens like twice a week. The
But seriously, this guy does have a heart of gold. Don't let him tell you different.
I just can't stand bullshit. Like, so I sat in here, we sat here in the shop and we listen to people and they tell these stories, you know, and everybody's really opinionated about, you know, the foreign affairs. And ain't none of them, you know, they can't even handle, you know, their own household affairs, let alone foreign affairs.
Right.
I mean, my favorite is the guy that comes in and pawns his shit because he needs money, but's giving financial advice while he's in the line. That's my favorite thing.
That's why I said working here is pretty fun because you get to see a whole cadre of people.
Cadre.
That's one of them fancy words.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
I switched chairs with him. He's got the creaky chair now.
I was wondering.
Yeah, I switched, man. Yeah.
But, you know, again, I work here on Saturdays because, you know, I'm working throughout the week. And it's fun. I look forward to it because you never know who's going to walk in that front door and ask, hey, I need X, Y, Z, you know. It's really fun.
Speaking of that, what about the Epstein stuff? Can you speak on that? Because
I think
that's supposed to drop today.
I'll put it this way.
Drop yesterday.
I'll put it this way. The more transparency in government, the better. So if the lists are coming out.
You just don't fuck with kids, man. Here's my take on it all. I don't care who you are, if you're famous, Republican, Democrat, congressman. I don't care who you are. A pastor, what was that guy's name? Yeah. But anyway, I don't care. There was kids involved. There was kids that were human trafficked.
Oh yeah.
And I think these people should be hung up, and I think they should be crucified. Can I say that?
Well,
I probably have to bleep that out.
What's really interesting is like I'll listen to like YouTube while I'm dashing just to have something on, and I'll listen to the YouTube shorts. And obviously, I've listened to Ralph Unfiltered, which you should too. But sometimes I'll scroll through, and this guy on a podcast used to be in prison, and the first thing they do is they read your papers. And
the chomos.
Yeah, if you've been a child molester, chomo, they beat the fuck out of you.
They should. I love that. I think that anybody that messes with kids, and that's what this Epstein stuff just boils down to. It's rich people that use their power and their influence to exploit children.
Well, like I said,
they should all die.
The more transparency in any level of government, local, state, federal, is better. Because like they're talking about when they release the JFK files, they're talking about, well, now that it's two shooters. I always believed that the Warren Commission, Lee Harvey Oswald did it.
Right.
And now my whole
stop believing your government.
Now my whole I mean, dang, I'm a history teacher and I've taught Lee Harvey Oswald popped a cap in John F. Kennedy. And now, I got to wait for more of it to come out, the full story. So I got to readjust my lesson plan on that. And it's not necessarily.
I mean, we thought Columbus discovered America too when we were little kids.
Well, what's really funny is when they say he proved that the world was round, that whole story is bullshit. Aristotle proved that it was round 2,000 years ago.
Right.
They just didn't know there was two huge continents in the way. So.
Well, hey. We are over our time, but by the time we edit this and I take out all the crazy shit I said, it'll be around 30 minutes. But this is episode 5 with Ralph Unfiltered. I got my guest, Robert, the dancing Korean.
And if you notice, I'm his favorite guest.
You're just the only one that wanted to sit in here, man, because I don't have a lot of friends right now.
See, I didn't cover on that burp.
Damn, your burp stink. Check us out Monday for episode 6. You guys have a good one, man. Thanks for listening to my rants.